All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Court of the Rings on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. I'm Locher's Community Manager, Cordovan, and I'll be with you for the next hour. Hanging out, having some fun, turning into a chicken. It is the month of the chicken, apparently, and we could talk a little bit about that as well. How's everyone doing here today? I appreciate you being here. We've got a little bit of news, not a ton of new news to break. But after the show here today, we're going to be doing a Q&A on Discord. That'll be on the Deco du Milieu Discord, and I will drop a link to the Discord. Nope, that's not the link to the Discord. I will drop a link to the Discord shortly into chat, and follow it. We're going to be doing general Q&A for, we say about a half hour, could be up to an hour. My guess is it's more of an hour, but, you know, we'll see. Something like that. We're going to have plenty of time for your questions on housing over on the Deco du Milieu blog. So that's going to be happening after the show here today. So, welcome everyone. And it's going to be a fun weekend. Hope you're having a good one. We've got a 25% XP boost going on through the weekend. Although, we did encounter a question that we responded to related to Shadowfax and Treebeard. So, the bonus on Shadowfax is we're adding that extra 25%. So yeah, 75% XP gain for the weekend on Shadowfax, plus 75%. And that runs through August 8th. Over on the Shadowfax server, Treebeard is not going to be getting the XP boost. Instead, it's going to have a 10% Virtue XP boost, and that's through the 8th as well. Now, one of the questions we have is, how do you feel we should handle the bonuses on Shadowfax and Treebeard? Does it really matter that much to you that we not bring the XP bonuses to those two worlds? Would you like to see them? Or do you tend to agree that, you know, since the XP boost is a core part of the experience, especially on Treebeard, there's no real interest in a XP boost? But we'd like to hear what you want us to do on that, because we're fairly open to doing whatever you would prefer. So, let me head quick to chat while I can. When can we see our set selection screen music? Oh, that would be sweet. I would love to be able to have some kind of drop down as to a music selector for the character select screen. That's a great idea. I have no idea what the reality of that ever happening is, but I love that idea. I think that sounds like a great idea. Yeah, you do hear chickens in the background. Virtue Boost is the best on Treebeard. That was generally our thinking on it as well, which is why that's what we did. So, alright, well, good enough. If people want to add more to that later, you can. Do want to mention as well that we do have Hobnanigans running through August 8th. So Hobnanigans is also happening this weekend. And next week, we have got the start of the new Farmers Fair. Yeah, that kicks off on the 10th. That would be Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern. And runs through August 30th, being shut off on the 31st at 3 a.m. Eastern. So that's the Farmers Fair, and that's going to be kicking off next week. My understanding of the Farmers Fair this year is it's basically just new itemization, but ultimately there's still tons to do in the Farmers Fair. So I think it'll be okay just kind of having new stuff this year. And that new stuff, by the way, is going to be going out in a patch. That is actually on the short-term agenda here, is next week, on the 10th, as a matter of fact, we're going to be deploying a small patch to the game. That would be update 30.2. Not a lot in there other than some of the work related to Farmers Fair, and also happening on that day, the Fall of Khazad-dûm raid gear will be available for Embers, you know, deed-gated, but available for Embers on that day. So the patch is mostly related to locking in the final pieces of those two bits. But that's all happening next Tuesday. So that's what we're doing in the short term in terms of our release schedule. I would say we are planning to increase the level cap on Honor. That'll be up to 115 and will include the Mordor and Northern Mirkwood stuff. That is set to happen within a couple of weeks here, currently set for Wednesday, August 18th. We'll see, we're not there yet, but that's the current tentative date for that. Is we're going to be increasing the level cap on Honor on Wednesday, August 18th. And then we're only a few weeks after that. There'll be in early September, not August, but early September. Could even be like September 1st, something like that. We're going to be releasing Mori on Shadowfax, because, Shadowfax is on the super quick route in terms of release schedule every 2 months, right? And guess what? It's been 2 months. So Shadowfax will be getting Moria in very early September there as well. So that is really what our short-term plans are. I would point out, when I'm looking at our schedule here as well, that you have a few weeks yet to get the Fall of Khazad-dûm leading the charge deed. But that goes away technically at 3 a.m. Eastern on Thursday, August 26th, but basically through Wednesday, the 25th, you've got to get that leading the charge deed. So if you don't have that done yet, you still have, about 3 weeks. But, not quite 3 weeks. But still, you'll want to maybe get on that if that's important to you. So there we go. All right. What else we got in chat here before I kind of move on? Let's see. You would prefer to test the new servers in Hawaii? Yeah, I agree. I think that sounds great, Ski. We'll do that. We'll send everyone to Hawaii to play on the new Legendary Worlds. I think we can do... No, we can't do that. Sorry, I don't know the answer to your question, my Sam, about Volume 1, Book 7, Chapter 8, the bug you ran into. Sorry. When are we going to see PVMP fixed? The last major update, in this person, Colcash's opinion on Twitch, broke PVMP and has not been looked at since. Defilers need at least 30% heals reduced, minus 30% heals, and also shouldn't get infamy for heal tagging like bears don't on Freep side. It doesn't matter whether I go with 30% Orccraft mitigation or 50%, I take the same damage. We do have PVMP work incoming. As a matter of fact, over on the Palantir program right now, we have been having an employee that is doing some dedicated work on PVMP by the name of Fantus, interacting with some of the PVMP folks with an eye toward what we're going to do in the short term for some PVMP work. But we have some PVMP work coming in the short term, and that'll be on Bullroar also when the time is right. I don't know what the exact timing is. I don't know if it's even remotely realistic to think it's Gundabad or after Gundabad, but that work is in process, and you'll be hearing more about that in the near future. There is some specific work being done related to gearing, itemization, and some balance work that will be done. So hopefully we'll be able to address your issue in the relatively near future here. So stay tuned for more information on that. We're just at the point where this employee is actually had been most recently doing some work over on the other game side, is working dedicated on some PVMP work on the Lotra side, of which they are familiar with, and have been doing meetings internally for quite some time now, and are starting to do more of the external work associated with the work that's going to be done. So there you go. I don't want to give an ETA at this point because something could come up. Something maybe you already did at one point, which this work could have been done maybe earlier at one point in the schedule. But the reality of the business is what it is. So I don't want to get too much more into detail there, other than to say that we do have some PVMP work coming in. We do have someone specifically set aside to do that work in the near future. And they've actually been doing some of the ramp up really to the work that's being done here pretty recently, and we'll have more then in the future. What are the plans for weapon swapping? We are going to be greatly reducing the reliance on weapon swapping in the game. And as part of that work, we intend to try to address some of the causes for frequent weapon swapping to begin with. We'll have more information as we get closer to release. Once we're in a position really to say more about it. But our intention is to dramatically reduce the amount of weapon swapping that players feel they are required to do in certain content. To go through that. Actually, I ended up generating a lot of chat, didn't I? Uh-oh. They're aiming pre-Gundabad for the revamp, but only a few weeks. Probably so. I think the intention is to do a large swath of legendary item work with Gundabad and continue to do work related to legendary items and the patches and updates following as well. But with Gundabad, we will see, I believe, a lot of the, I guess you could say, initial swap over to the new legendary item replacement. And we'll have more about that as we get closer to it as well. Let me head over to Facebook quick. Someone is hitting me with something in-game. Streaming from the office today? No, I'm still at home. I just have a green screen up. It looks kind of nice, I think, to do it that way. I was able to do it on some of the other streams I do. It just kind of adds a little bit of a slightly higher quality bar, and then also not everyone has to see my perfectly clean living room that totally is clean and has been vacuumed frequently. And does not have all sorts of junk in the background, including like 5 or 6 game consoles, a cassette player, laserdisc player, 5 CD changer. Record player. VHS tapes. Oh, what's wrong with me? Hello. Alright, so it is the month of the chicken. Let me get to that. That's what we're gonna do. Let me explain why I'm doing what I'm doing here. It is the 12th annual Month of the Chicken. The Bounders of the Shire Kinship from Landreval celebrate the month of August as the Month of the Chicken. It was founded, as for many years run, by Miss Daffodilla Wildfeet. This year, as Miss Daffodilla is unfortunately not available, the event is being run by Rebra, as Mama Hen also stubbornly remains in retirement. There's some other information there. Let me see. Thanks to everyone who's been involved. It's obviously been a big effort to put this together, and there's a full schedule of events, and I'm going to drop that schedule over into the chats. But it was brought up to me in private message. I can't remember who told me this now. Hey, Cordovan, you should do chicken stuff on stream for the month of the chicken. And then for Kin Night, the group decided to do some chicken work. So I was like, this will be a perfect thing to do on the show today. I've got a ring over my head. See? I can even yeah, right there especially. I need to increase my camera size slightly. Move myself over. There we go. I need to just like sway back and forth a little bit. What quest do you get? What quest do you get? You get a quest to provide feedback. I need you to go to the forums and provide feedback for me. And then I need you to go over to Discord at 1 o'clock and ask your housing questions. Alright, there we are. I'm gonna do... I'm gonna be a chicken. That's what I'm gonna do. And you can see, this is at Sanson's Farm, which is here. Basically northeast of Mickle Delving by Little Delving. And yes, I see you there. Alright, so the first thing I need to do is place the egg in the proper nest. Now, there is no real trick to this other than to learn the pattern. Let's see if I can get it right on the first try. So I believe it's, if you think of it like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it goes 1, 2, no, 1, 3, 4, 2, 5, I think. Yeah. At least that's how I kind of think of it. It's a trial and error otherwise, which you can do. Am I going to survive? We shall see. We shall see, will we not? I don't need help. I will certainly not say no. I get a prized pie.
Could I take a moment of your time?
Now, I need to talk to Bellina. Who's over here. It has a fairly small quest ring at the start. It's kind of easy to miss there, but you do that, and kaboink, you go into session play. Your quests are below, or my quests are below your level. You know, you're probably correct about that. Mine is totally going to be a fetch quest. You know that's true. So you just need to not get spotted is basically the trick. And there's no real trick to it other than don't get spotted. Search mounds of dirt until you collect enough earthworms. RNG may be your friend, it may not. So people have taken this to very far places. And that's one of the exciting things about chicken play. I don't know the history of chicken play. It's before my time, unfortunately, so I daren't not speak too much about it, of that which I do not know. There was a link of the LI revamp on a Discord that you saw. Someone is saying in chat. That's true. That's true. We did have a leak of the Palantir information. One of the Palantir posts that had been made in July over on various Discords. It ended up leaking out pretty widely. Obviously, it's not pleasant to have in-progress NDA information get leaked all over the place, but whatever, it happened. We'll have more. It is what it is in terms of it was what it was when it was written. What does that mean for the next time you'll see it? Yeah. I'd say a lot of it that was in that leak ended up conceptually being pretty much what's going on. A lot of the more specifics are less relevant. But, you know, it's fine. But we are getting fairly close to it. You know, it's not going to be that long before you're seeing a whole bunch of info about legendary items. I would say weeks, most likely, something like that. And so there'll be a whole bunch of information available to you in the relatively near future related to legendary items. Hey, that ring's a lot larger. Right. Was it leaked or set free? Well, you know, I don't know that anyone was super panicked about it getting out there to some extent. Excuse me, not in this particular case. But it is true also that what was seen, you know, was to some extent a work in progress. So you always want to be kind of careful about... I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how much of an impact it has. Did it matter if you saw some work in progress stuff and then when it comes out next you're not upset about it, or less or more upset? Guess we'll find out, right? So it won't be the same, but it'll probably be pretty similar. So
Might I speak with you a moment?
have I seen that new TV show official photo, and what are my thoughts? I have seen it. Looked sweet. Transfers from closed worlds. Yes. My understanding is within recent weeks, some work had been done to further put that along the process. I know it's ridiculously too long since it was last available, but we are planning to do it still. And that work should be hopefully done relatively soon. But as soon as it's in a position to tell you more about, I will. Sure. Facing the right direction, which I'm not. Alright. So in this case, you're going to the... You have to dodge the beasts. So, yeah. So that is the latest. I do know that some more work had been done to migrate the closed worlds onto basically the technological platform that is needed in order to offer transfers in the future. You know, you can get... I was doing this yesterday, a little bit, and you can get fairly close to these things sometimes, but you can't grab their aggro. I mean, obviously, you will not survive if you grab their aggro. So we'll see how I do. But, you know, for the most part, you know, you don't have to be on the other side of the map from them. You can be pretty close. And it'll work. Or you'll get around them. This one is up on the roof. Alright, next one is basically over east. Oh, and you've got these abilities on the bottom. I actually should have been using this. You get a nice little boost ability that'll get you across the map fairly quickly. But it only lasts for a little bit. Theoretically can help you get away if you do have aggro, although if you get aggro, you're pretty much out of luck. So. Did I get a new camera and a green screen? Looks good. It's the same camera I've been using for about 6 months or so now. It is one of the just standard Logitech C920s. That kind of, I guess you could almost call it a default at this point among the Twitch and YouTube set. You don't have to have one, but it's probably the one most people have. And I got that from the office. This is an office webcam, but I was able to grab it quick from work after the COVID outbreak was more under control, so I guess it was late May? June? Or basically when I could. And so I've had that for a little while, but then I did just hook up a green screen this week, and I've just been using it, because it does kind of look a little nicer, especially compared to just showing your living room all the time, which... sometimes you want to do... It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. But, you know. Do you want 1,000 people to stare at your living room every week? I bet not! I'm trying to read some chat here, too. The idea of making a VIP benefit permanent has come up. You know, the way it's implemented right now has something in no small part to do with making sure it has no impact on server performance. You know, it is just a little bit of information on a character, but when you multiply that over by the large number of characters, you know, throughout the game world, it does have an impact on the footprint, as it were. And so the current implementation of having to speak to an NPC regularly to get it on you in a way that can be then stripped off your character is better for server performance. Now, there may be some other ways we can do it in the future, so I would not say that it is the case that we will always be doing it the way it's being done now, but the way it's being done now is being done deliberately with an eye toward that. So while the end user experience does mean that you need to refresh the thing on the regular, it has an impact on your ability to, or us to deliver it in a way that is cognizant, especially in a world where game performance has been mentioned to us as something we do really want to be careful about right now, because we need to do as much as we can in that regard. But, you know, what will the future hold? Who knows? We could certainly do something different some other way someday. The cuckoo clock is just gonna have to be gone for a while. It's on my list of projects that I would love to get to, if time ever permits, and time is not permitted. I also don't want to make it worse, but it is ultimately just a $30 cuckoo clock I picked up from a flea market. So, to some extent, I'm okay with, letting it go. It had a good run, but I will tinker with it. But if I do want to get it fixed, I probably would want to consult someone who is an expert, and that costs money. And I just have been spending it on other things, and have not had the kind of cash it would take to hire a professional clock repair person. Like an auto-bestow quest might be another way to go, right? Exactly. That has come up, although that has its own set of annoyances, does it not, right? Or more locations for the VIP lady, that could happen as well. Are there plans for some sort of UI rework, scaling and text scaling specifically? As a long-term project, yes. As a short-term project, no. We do absolutely want to do some extensive work related to updating the UI of the game. But that's not something that's going to be happening, in the near future here. So, if and when that moves into a much more solid reality, I think we'd be in a better position to comment on it.
Might I speak with you a moment?
Any plans for new weapon glows, auras? Almost certainly yes. How do we decide the winner of the Beacon Forum competition? Is it picked randomly, or do I read through all the submissions? I do not read through all of these submissions, although I usually do skim them, because they're pretty fun. But so I'm going over by Tuckborough. But how I do it is randomized. What I do is I usually, unless it's like 30 pages or something ridiculous like that, if it's less than, say, 10 pages, which it usually is, I will skim over the post to see if I have someone who is clearly just posting 5 or 6 times on different forum accounts, and who perhaps, should thus be disqualified from winning 500 points that week. And I do take a look just to kind of make sure that there's not a lot of I'm just chatting and not answering the question of the week, which is fine too. And then I come up with a total number for that. I mark down the ones that are ineligible. And then I just do a random number generator. And take a look at the post. And assuming the post is suitable for being able to quote, and thus win. Like if it's some raunchy or terrible thing, or it's like, I just wanted to post that SSG sucks, something like that, then, you're not going to win. But assuming it's just a regular post, which it almost always is, that person's the winner. So, pure random number generator, after I do a quick skim to remove clear, sort of, non-eligible posts. And then same for French and German, which they have far, far fewer posts per week. So I'm not saying learn how to answer in French and get a second chance, but I'm just saying you might be able to. I might be a while before I'd catch on to that. And so, anyway, but that's fine, right? Okay. So it's not like, you know, it's not like a state lottery level of care, but I do take general care to make sure that the people answering are answering appropriately and that there's not a lot of kind of fishing for points in it. But otherwise, hey, it's fine. It's fine. If you don't answer the question 100%, or if you're like, you know what would be great is me winning points, that's fine too. I really don't care that much. The whole idea of the question of the week is just to get something more fun than, I would like to enter into the weekly contest for 500 Lotro points, or some kind of boring system like that. It's just more fun to have a question, and it actually does spur some fun conversations in, like, podcasts. I know some kinships posted up as the question of the week on their websites and things, and so it actually just gets a little use. It's just a little bit of dumb fun and a way to kind of give out some points every week, and that's ultimately all that thing is. See, you can see I'm getting pretty close here, but I'm not pulling aggro, right? Well, that bear's even a little closer than I'd want. But you can get pretty close and not pull a lot of aggro. Now, you actually don't want to go too fast, though, during this. So I've got that speed boost. Oh, there's the other one. You can play dead. That one's pretty important in terms of if you do end up in a kind of an aggro situation. You cannot be attacked, right? So it's kind of a safe one to do. Now, you have this one, too, Paranoia. I haven't really figured out how exactly it's supposed to help me too much. I don't know if it sheds aggro or what. I haven't really used it much, because I, for the most part, am either dead or I'm moving around, and I'm zipping along. But you do have, also if you grab some aggro, you can bob and weave, give yourself a little bit of a chance to get out of there, particularly if you've got a speed boost or something going on. But the Paranoia, I'm not quite so sure about that one. So Yao says the Q&A in French on the Discord. That would probably slow down the process some, but we will actually have our localization person there as well, who is not really comfortable speaking French, but does write some French and can do some localization as necessary. But we also know that, frankly, pretty much everyone except Americans know English and have to learn it in school. But it's true. And so it was our understanding that that this would be in English. But we are prepared to take actually a few questions in French, no problem. I'm speaking to the little woodland creatures. Alright, so now I'm heading over down this way. You kind of need to go around or down. Good time to give myself a little speed boost. Oink. It helps with stealth mobs. Oh, okay. Okay, that's true. Good point. Sanzeret. Yes, thank you. That's our localization person's Discord name. And forum name. Okay, so Paranoia is for increased stealth detection. There we go. Have I ever had a post that is so good that I've been tempted to pick it without picking randomly? Yes, it happens all the time. Or I'd be like, oh, that's such a good post. You should win. But I still do it randomly, because it's just fair that way. It's great when everything aligns and I pick a random winner and that person answers with a pretty good response. But ultimately, you know, I don't want to make it about having the best response either, because that, you know, not everyone is naturally gifted in that regard, and it's just really just kind of a general giveaway, and that's all it's meant to be. So. Alright. When are Guardians getting fixed? I would expect to see some class work, probably maybe a little bit with Gundabad, but largely post-Gundabad. Legendary items is really the main focus of our systems, and we have Brawler, of course, coming as well. But I do think that we will see further class work down the road. Let me head over to YouTube quick. Why are Wildwood mission tokens bound to character and not account? Bilbo's missions are bound to account, and it is way better. I don't know, Sherwinicus, but that is a very good question. Why are they bound to character and not account? I agree. You have my vote. And my axe. Yeah, alright. I don't know. I will look into that. My guess is there might be a reason... No, I can't think of a reason, so...
Hello?
Alright. So at this point, you'll see you've got a whole bunch of places that you can go. And each one of these will be kind of a separate area that you need to do what we just did and get, you know, get to these different places. I don't know how much time I've got. I only have about 10-12 minutes here, so I wonder if maybe I shouldn't do something a little bit different here to kind of wrap up the sure. Just so it's not all on that. Oh, that's wait, Tokefist, really? Really? Alright. We have Hobnanigans. Could always show that a little bit, I guess. That prized pie. What does it do? Show off your most prized pie, confident that not even a hungry hobbit could take it from you. Carrying the pie. Nice. I have a pie. There's my map to Hobnanigans. Oh, I'm too busy carrying pie. Yep. I do not have further news on wardrobe space. Sorry. Let me head over to Facebook. We understand, generally we want to provide as much storage to you as we possibly can. And we are looking for places where we can offer more storage. Whether that ends up being wardrobe space or something else here in the future, I can't comment on today. But it is something that we're well aware of, that you would like to see us do, and that we would like to do as well. For the legendary servers, will the endgame gear like Rift gear get any work to have a higher item level than the item level 53 crafted gear? I would say that, as with other legendary worlds, the work that is done...
Stay and have some tea.
will be the same. I mean, it's not going to be a different set of itemization for one game world. So the work that would be done for every game world throughout, not for a specific legendary world. We're not going to have one set of itemization for one game world and one set for a different game.
Could I take a moment of your time?
Why can't I do that right now? I thought I already left the field and got it canceled. Anyway, I don't know what else I can really say about that. I think that's about the most I could say. Is that, you know, no is the answer. It'll be the same gear that you will get, regardless. I'm not sure why this isn't canceling. I forgot. I'll try this.
Good day. Might I have a word with you?
Oh, that way? Any news about when we'll test U31 on Bull Roar? It's going to be a little while yet, but we are definitely getting closer to it. I can't yet provide a date as to when it'll be on Bull Roar yet, though. I don't know. I think, actually, I mean, we're pretty close on things, and I'm not getting top Nandigans really done here today, I don't think. So, let me cancel the quest here quick. At least I can do that. See if I can read, because you can do these ultimately even single player if you keep canceling the quest
Could I
and what
take
have
a
you.
moment of your time?
Anyway, Hobdanigans is going through the weekend. I'd have to relook, I guess, how to how to do this single player. It's been a little while since I tried. But there's a way you don't have to wait for a full team, but otherwise you kind of have to wait for a full team. And I need to refresh my memory as to how to do that. Maybe I should actually wrap up the stream a little bit early since we have a Discord to head to here in a few minutes. You need to kill yourself to remove the buff. Oh, okay. I don't want to do that. Do I have any mortar-like sneak peeks? No. An Office Hobnanigans tournament and stream it live. I would be down for that. I think that's a great idea. I like that idea a lot. The buff has to go away, yeah, so I kind of just have to wait it out, right? There we go. And then you have to just sort of wait this. Oh, wait 5 minutes, okay. Here. Alright, well that's gonna do that. Thank you for the reminder. I did talk about PVMP to the extent that I could. I did talk about Allies of Roy on Facebook to the extent that I could earlier in the show. I don't know about repeating that at this point. Yeah. Like, someone wants to say, send their love to our Maine Coon kitty. So adorable. Yep. I actually have a lot of cats in the house right now. I've got a total of 4. 2 are in hiding right now. Maybe I'll show them off at some point in the future on stream. But, alright, well thank you very much though. I think we're going to wrap it up here. Thanks for watching Court of the Rings for this Friday. Hope you have a great weekend. In a couple of minutes here, we're going to be heading on over to the Deco du Milieu Discord. You can find a link to that over on twitter.com/deco milieu, M-I-L-I-E-U. I think. Hope I did that right. Otherwise, we do have a lot that is in the works that we'll have more about in the near future, including, you know, our first Brawler preview, a whole lot more information on legendary items, some more information on PVMP, and of course Gundabad stuff as well. Next week, reminder that we have got the Farmers Fair kicking off with new itemization, so we also have a small patch in the works for Tuesday related to that. So thank you very much for watching, everyone, and I will talk to you again in the future. Have fun.